rejects, and then there was rejects, and then there was super frogs, and then super will. Oh my god, it was a disaster. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get into this first game here. It is the former Super Frogs versus Cloud9, or Cloud9 versus Charlotte Phoenix.
This is going to be a super duper matchup, that's for sure. Cloud9, they're actually going to be tabling the Mage Lock. They found so much success with the Mage Lock Druid, but I think the Rogue Mage is scary. Based off what we saw earlier today with Integrity Damp and Method EU, I feel like it's a bit yikes if you are playing against a Rogue Mage as a Warlock, so maybe that's why we're seeing Chanimal on the bench for now. Cloud9 going to be locking in kind of a more standard composition. I feel like this is one of those matchups that really could go either way.
Yeah, and you can tell Aang here is very, very focused right now. Let's see what he decides to do here for the opener. Very, very important part of the game as the Rogue Mage here. He goes for the polymorph. He gets counterspelled there by Wealthyman before Wealthyman actually gets kidney shot. That's going to shut down a lot of the setup here. Nick's going to have to go for the sap instead. Wealthyman getting another Triune Barrier that actually got collected by Aang, but now Wealthyman has a chance to go for the counter Klepto. I think Wealthyman is going to be completely fine there as well. Nice alter time after he gets Klepted. Here comes the combustion, big damage onto Nick. Nick's going to trinket and trade that Cloak of Shadows. They get another sheep here potentially onto Korlic. No, he gets counterspelled by Aang. And now Wealthyman getting a big heal right there. Caught up in the kidney shot. Kubzy in a DR sheep here. Big damage potential. Snutz coming out with a Shadowman there. And now Kubzy once again out of crowd control. And C9 look to punish Nick once again.
Yeah, Nick's not comfortable right now in game one. Korlic is silent. Are they going to just KO him? Oh, Korlic comes in with the sacrifice. Redirecting damage just in time. Just in the nick of time, actually. And now Korlic is moving forward, looking for a Hammer of Justice. Triple crowd control engaged by Charlotte Phoenix. Looking to steal away Wealthyman's health. How much will they get away with here? Full polymorph onto Kubzy. Snutz is ready with the Void Shift if necessary. Look like too much damage if they can get more polymorphs, though. Another polymorph. Mirror just come out for Wealthyman, tanking out the damage, but it's still quite a lot.
Oh.
It looks like Nick is actually forced to run. He's going to vanish away from the fight, or Shadow Meld and re-stealth away from the fight. Line of sight and wait, but he's left Aang behind. Aang trades out those blazing barriers, buying time. Nick's now crossing the map, trying to find a re-stealth opener. Who are they going to go after? It looks like they want to go after Wealthyman here, but Wealthyman was able to blink and Frost Nova. See a Blessing of Freedom to reconnect, but Nick is getting pushed back. He can't really stay out there.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have to run immediately, getting that Blessing of Protection, though. I mean, it's not that bad. If you are Nick, you go in, you get a kidney shot, immediate Blessing of Protection just means, okay, we got our objective. Now we can retreat. Korlic, in terms of mana, a little bit behind Kubzy. Kubzy has kind of free reign over his positioning in this match, especially if Nick's being forced to run away. Kidney shot now on Snutz. Maybe they turn their attention over to the Shadow Priest. Wealthyman looking for a Dragon's Breath polymorph. Manages to find it. Hammer of Justice on Aang. Combustion comes in. Disarm with that Psychic Core coming in from Snutz as well. A decent setup here, but at the end of it all, Aang doesn't really have to use a single defensive cooldown in order to survive that Combustion setup.
Well, he used his human racial right there, so a small victory, but still definitely wanted to force something more, something bigger, like an ice block or something there. Snut's going to get that sacrifice here from Kubzy. Kubzy could get swapped to. He's in a Hammer of Justice. Big damage on the Kubzy, but Kubzy, we've seen this man do incredibly greedy things before, and once again it's going to pay off. Full sheep now onto Korlic. Who's going to be the target? Nick is going to trade out the Cloak of Shadows preemptively here. Door of Shadows from Snutz. He's all over him. Fleshcraft comes out here from Nick, and now finally the Quarter's going to leave that CC chain, so they do net themselves a Cloak of Shadows, but nothing much. And once again, this could be a game that just comes down to mana. Aang now getting spam polyed here on the setup, on the blind. Nick with the Shadow Step kick, but Aang doesn't get the polymorph onto Kubzy still, despite that backup from Nick there. And now Nick in a lot of trouble. No Cloak of Shadows. Trinket, sacrifice comes out from Korlic. Dragon's Breath sheep here from Wealthyman, but there's a sacrifice still going. They're waiting for it. They finally land the sheep after the sacrifice. That's the sacrifice being such a low duration here. Nick is in a lot of trouble. He Shadow Melts, tries to get away, but Snutz all over him. Snutz pushing in, trying to get a fear here as well, but decides against it. Nice push here once again from Cloud9, looking like they're in the driver's seat.
All right, let's see if they can keep steering their way to victory here. Snutz taking a little bit of damage. Nick is feared off. Good peel by Snutz. Korlic getting caught in that fear as well. Nick's on the run. He's stunned up behind the pillar. He's going to trinket right away. Will it be enough? He's on the run, trying to line of sight. Buying time, waiting behind the pillar. Korlic in another polymorph. Snutz is moving in. Shadow Word Death range potentially here. but not enough poke damage to take him down into range. Korlic goes for a big heal. No Dispel on it. Nick's back to full health, getting back on target. Mana at least in favor of Charlotte Phoenix at this point, but the trinket situation is dire. No medallions really. Snutz going to get Blessing of Protection here prior to the Vendetta. That's a big opening potentially. Maybe they're baiting it with Dispersion still available. They're trying to bait Nick to be aggressive, but right now Nick is stunned up. This could be a KO. Dragon's Breath into a full polymorph. Nick trying to get back behind the pillar. Mind Flay slowing him. Managing to wrap out of line of sight. Now they're turning over to Aang. Aang's going to Blazing Barrier. Mind controlled out into the open. Kubzy gets silenced by Nick. Nick's just moving in onto Snutz at the moment, trying to maximize their diminishing returns by spamming Polymorph out on Wealthyman, and then potentially switching back. Snutz seems to be the target. Here comes the Vendetta, and because of punishing that Blessing Protection earlier on, but Snutz has options. He can't use them if he's kicked, though. Nick gets stunned up. Meteor comes in. Wealthyman's going for a big hit. Double Dragon's Breath. Nice setup by Wealthyman here, trying to close it out, but Nick has Cloak of Shadows. He's immune to magic damage, which is the entirety of Cloud9. Nick is now going to line of sight at the pillar once again, navigating this expertly. Korlic has options now. It's looking actually better and better for Charlotte Phoenix.
Yeah, not looking too bad. They are getting some momentum in the match. Nuts on the back foot quite heavily right now. Easily the Dispersion. Goes for a Shadowman. Big heal. Topping himself off. Kubzy actually, I believe, traded out his Trinket as well. So not going to have that freedom from crowd control in the near future. But 6% dampening right now. Mana, I'd say a little bit even for these teams. Korlic now into a full polymorph. Nick, no real answers. I mean, if they can get a nice setup on Nick, he's got no Cloak, no Vanish, no Trinket. All they need is one setup, but Nick immediately, it looks like he's actually just running away. So going over to Korlic, making sure there's that defense available, protecting him from the crowd control of Wealthyman. And now, once again, making a push and continuing the pressure on Snutz in the midfield. Snutz using Thought Steal, getting a polymorph on Aang. Big potential setup here. Aang denies it with the Dragon's Breath, and I think Nick should be able to survive. With Feint, with line of sight, there's no way he goes down in this situation. And Charlotte Phoenix hold on.
Yeah, but look at Kubzy. This is a classic moment where Kubzy would go for a drink, and Aang is there stopping it, but Kubzy no, actually wasn't able to get any mana now. Caught up in a cheap shot, but nice shot down there by Wealthyman. Wealthyman also stopping the drink. I gotta say, Wealthyman has been playing a fantastic game so far, and now here comes the Dragon's Breath Sheep. Here comes the Mind Game. Snake is in a lot of trouble. The trinkets is gonna be enough, though. I think he traded out his Vanish there as well. He has the shield from Stealth, so I do believe Nick had to trade a trinket and a Vanish in that setup. 20 seconds remaining on that Cloak of Shadows. Nick as well, been balancing his offense and defense excellently so far. In this game, it's a big reason why it's going down to the wire here. We're at 14% dampening here, ladies and gentlemen. Snutz in a Blessing of Protection, looking to get aggressive. Nick, once again, is going to take that cooldown and be completely happy that he just got it. Going to sit back, go for the restuff, and he has that Vendetta, no Blessing of Protection. There is a Dispersion on Snutz, but Vendetta lasts a lot longer than the Dispersion, so if they can get a CC onto Kubzy, they get it. Full sheep onto Kubzy here. This is an excellent opportunity for Nick to press that Vendetta, and he does. Snutz needs to be careful. We've seen what Assassination Rogues can do with their double and Venom one-shot. Snutz playing it extremely good. No! He's not going to use the Dispersion. I can't believe it. Finally trades it out, but that was after Kubzy already traded Trinket Sacrifice. Disaster. Cloud9 finally overlapping here 8 minutes into the game, Sid.
Yeah, Charlotte Phoenix still keeping things interesting, but here comes a Polymorph and a stun lock. Swap over to Aang. Will he survive? Edging the Meteor. Aang going to respect it with an Ice Block, and Cloud9 battle back. 2 targets vulnerable here. Korlic's got a tough choice in the future. Might even still die. They silence out of the Ice Block. They're going to trigger the Cauterize soon. Sacrifice trades from Korlic, redirecting damage. Now Snutz on the back foot, no Dispersion. Full blind on Kubzy, no Trinket. Is he on Forbearance? No. Divine Shield comes out for Kubzy. Greater Fate as well from Snutz. Cooldowns overlapped left and right on the side of Cloud9. Their defense is starting to shatter. Their mana is dwindling down to nothing. And a full Polymorph lands. There's absolutely no way. 1 second left on the kidney shot. Void Shift comes through from Snutz just in that little tiny opening. Kubzy's got Avenging Wrath. He can keep going for a couple more seconds, but they need to net a kill. What are their options here at this point? Still likely going to have to be Aang with Nick's Trinket coming off cooldown, but Snutz is just getting pushed back. They're not looking like they're standing on solid ground. It could just fall from underneath them. They try and go in desperation after Aang, but Korlic Divine Shields. Will his shield be enough? They're trying to power down Snutz at the same time, and they are pushing through the offense of Cloud9 and taking him out before they go down. Charlotte Phoenix looked dicey to start out, but they cleaned it up at the end.
Yeah, I mean, as dampening gets higher and higher, it is really difficult. I mean, Kubzy was completely tapped on mana at the end of that game, and there's just no way you could sustain through the Assassination Rogue damage. And that kind of is the edge Charlotte Phoenix has. When it's at that point in dampening, having the additional healing reduction of that Assassination Rogue and all that consistent pressure really starts adding up. Well played to them, and I kind of wonder what Cloud9 is going to do. Like, do we feel like there's any chance they could actually just go into mirror matches against Charlotte Phoenix if that's their only option?
It could happen, but I feel like there's more options here on Cloud9. I think Mage Warlock is... I just love watching them play their Mage Warlock. I feel like they are the best team in the world when it comes to that comp, and if they can, they should play to their strength as often as possible. Now, I don't know how good or bad this matchup is into Mage Warlock, but if they can lock it in, I would love to see that. But here, we're going to see both teams kind of going for a race to the finish. And you can see Kubzy here. He's a little bit confused. He has a really tough choice there. Do I walk into that meteor there and remove crowd control on myself, or do I stay at the pillar? He tried to walk into the meteor, but realizing he's going to be in kick range of Nick there, so he goes back to the pillar. But either way, there's no real instant healing there for Kubzy. He just has to stand there and cast, and the damage is just too high. And I really believe it all comes back to some of those overlaps that they did earlier with the dispersion and with some of Kubzy's cooldowns.
Okay, Charlotte Phoenix taking game number 1 victory here against Cloud9. Zico kind of said it a little bit here on his thoughts on Cloud9 potentially going back to their mage block. But Subtees, Ben, what do you guys think? Do you think that's a better matchup here against Charlotte Phoenix?
Warrior Mage, I think. I wouldn't mind seeing Warrior Mage into Rogue Mage Paladin if they know that that's the matchup. I'm wondering what they're afraid of to blind lock Warrior Mage. Doesn't seem like there's anything, right? I feel like if you're Cloud9, you should just play Warrior Mage for the rest of the series, and at worst, you get a mirror. But they were crushing mirrors from what I remember. So, I feel like Cloud9 should just play Warrior Mage the rest of the series.
Have we seen that matchup play out since the Assassination Rogue changes? I don't know if we have.
I think you're still fine. You trade out for Vendetta. You have an answer for every Vendetta, and then I think you're fine. You don't have to worry about the triple crowd control.
I'm struggling to understand. Struggling to understand. Maybe Cloud9 was thinking, this is all I can think. Maybe Cloud9 was thinking that Charlotte Phoenix was going to play Warrior Mage.
Yeah.
So they were trying to get the edge in the Warrior Mage matchup, but they were met with the Rogue Mage, and then obviously it didn't work out for them. So Cloud9, there is options for them. I would like to see them play the Mage Lock, see if they can make it work, but I feel like if they were confident in that matchup, they would always play Mage Lock. So I think it probably is an uphill battle.
Because it was a pretty fair guess what Charlotte Phoenix was going to play here. So
they have 2 comps, basically.
Yeah.
They have Rogue Mage and Warrior Mage at this point.
Hey,
I get a point.
Yep. All right, well, Subtees, since you predicted this composition, talk to me about how this matchup is going to go. What's the win condition here for Cloud9?
I mean, it's mostly just it's defense. The Warrior, well, Zico got his little shoulder brush when he was right, about his prediction. I have to take the wins when I can get them, okay? Like,
you're right.
Just let me have this. Let me have this.
That was a serious prediction, not a comp, but go on.
Snutz on the Warrior is just kind of like a counter rogue where you can intervene every kidney shot on the mage. You Stormbolt and Disarm to remove a lot of the extra damage from the rogue. Basically, you just block the rogue. That's the main advantage of having the Warrior instead of the Rogue, is that you just block everything they want to do. You're playing goalie basically for your team, and then as a result of stopping all their opportunities, you can eventually overwhelm the other team. We haven't, again, like Vendruki was saying, we haven't really seen the assassination changes play out in the matchup, so that might have an influence on the outcome, which might mean that Cloud9 can't rely on it. But I think it's better to play it and see, at least in one of these games, because if it isn't, then I feel like Snutz and Cloud9, their Warrior Mage could easily contest a mirror, and if it beats the Rogue Mage, then that's their best option.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to see how this goes if those changes for the Rogue here are going to be Charlotte Phoenix's ticket to winning game number 2 here against Cloud9. But so far right now, they're looking pretty solid in this series, and it would mean quite a lot to them for Charlotte Phoenix if they could beat Cloud9. Historically, this is a very strong team. I would love to know, do we remember the last time that they faced off against each other, Cloud9 versus Charlotte Phoenix? I feel like it's been a while.
I feel like they've gone head-to-head so much that I don't remember what the last time looked like.
Yeah.
All I remember is Cloud9's Warrior Mage looking really good.
Okay,
I think
I'll go ahead.
I just think they should just play Warrior Mage. Cloud9 should just play Warrior Mage.
That's fair.
That's the safe bet.
I'm actually not 100% sold that that Warrior Mage is going to be the counter to Assassination Rogue Mage.
I'm not either.
Because we saw before the Assassination Rogue buffs, I don't remember if it was versus C9 or Charlotte, but yes, you remember this as well, man. With the Peekaboo playing with WizK Mage. No, I think it was against the Hamsters and Hares Warrior Mage. And they just sat on the Mage the entire game, and they were able to win, and that was before Assassination Rogue got buffed. So I don't know. I think there's definitely a lot to this matchup that we're gonna kind of discover here, because the last time we saw these comps face, it was a different patch.
Okay, here we go. Let's see how they want to start it. Nick looking like he wants to sap Wealthyman, maybe move over. They could have grabbed combat. Doesn't look like Wealthyman blinks in, sniping combat onto Korlic. Kubzy's in combat. Bladestorm from Snutz right when Kubzy gets polymorphed. Wealthyman looks to be the target. Snutz is likely to intervene here on the stuns. Intervene comes over, redirecting damage to the Warrior, stabilizing Wealthyman during that blazing barrier. Nick is still just tunneling down the Mage at the moment. Snutz is trying to go after Aang now, having used his defense. Double Fear, stun on Aang. Nice setup by Snutz, 3 versus 1 in this position. Korlic in a Ring of Frost. Blessing of Protection was active during that push. Aang is trying to kite away from Snutz. Snutz still laying in with that Avatar with the Spear Bastion. A lot of damage. Korlic into a Hammer of Justice. Aang trying to escape. Will he be able to get away from Snutz in time? 1 second left. Korlic connects a big heal on that Avenging Wrath. Aang will stabilize, and now Charlotte Phoenix look to counter-engage.
Yeah, and let's see if Charlotte Phoenix can get any pressure rolling here onto Wealthyman. Wealthyman likely going to be going into a kidney shot. Double blinding light by Kubzy, nicely done. Once again, Aang on the back foot. There's a full polymorph, nicely done. Aang forced to trade out his human racial, every man for himself, to cancel the kleptomania of Wealthyman, but it's still Aang on the back foot. Finally catching a big heal there by Korlic. Charlotte Phoenix stabilized for the time being, but they're kind of struggling to find pressure here. Wealthyman down to about 50% health. A polymorph on Snutz. This is great. Hammer of Justice on Kubzy. This is the first nice setup coming in from Charlotte Phoenix. But Wealthyman looks like he's going to be okay. The double blinding light. Wealthyman still not taking too much damage. Finally, the kidney shot comes in. Smoke bomb drops as well, but Snutz denies with his intervene. It looks like Wealthyman should hopefully be able to hold on. Kubzy throwing in a few heals. Dragon's Breath on Nick. Now Aang, once again, going to be taking a little bit of damage. That's a Blessing of Protection. Korlic has just been preemptively throwing in those Blessing of Protections, but it could still be the Cauterize from Aang. A lot of shields bolstering the defense of Aang, but Cauterize is just so close. Can they get it? Execute after execute. Cauterize comes in. Can they get the ice block as well? It's the sacrifice overlap. So Trinket sacrifice from Korlic, Cauterize from Aang, and they might just get more here.
Yeah, I don't know. Wealthyman just clept that Blessing of Protection on Aang. Just pop combustion, man. He was stunned as well. Yeah, there we go. Press it. You're going to get an ice block guaranteed here. There we go. Full kidney into Klepto, double ring coming out here as well. They get a triple DR sheet into a Hammer of Justice. I don't know how long that Iceberg's going to have. I don't think they have a blinding light. They have a Garrote Silence though. More damage to come out here. Nice Stormbolt by Snutz. He's going to shut down Aang's damage there though. Aang definitely getting a few Fire Blast charges while Wealthyman was in that Ice Block, equalizing the game a little bit, but Aang might have to use his own Ice Block now. Korlic in a full sheep. Aang needs to play defense here. He goes for the Dragon's Breath onto Snutz, into the sheep, getting a little bit of distance between him and Snutz. Snutz. There is the Blessing of Protection now onto Wealthyman, but that was not Nick's Vendetta. Nick now in a polymorph Aang forced into the ice block. Can Snutz remove it though? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to shatter throw that one, but maybe use it on a Blessing of Protection earlier. But we're going to see here, Nick has his Vendetta, no Blessing of Protection here onto the mage of Wealthyman. Well, Kubzy has one more here, but if they can let some crowd control onto Kubzy, that could be really, really big here. Let's see what they do. Full blinding light. Nick has the Vendetta. He gets it, and that's going to be a Blessing of Protection. They're trading out once again.
Oh, full poly on Kubzy. A double blink from Aang, trying to get aggressive and cheeky here. 3 minutes, 45 seconds into game number 2. Trying to move up to match point against Cloud9 in this best-of-5 series. Charlotte Phoenix really needs this win overall in the circuit if they want to try and qualify for that top 5 position and make it into the North American Finals. Wealthyman stunned up, Kubzy into the blind. Scary moment for Cloud9. Kubzy has a Divine Shield, a big trade. Now Aang on the back foot. Korlic trying to get ready. 5 seconds away from that sacrifice. 4 seconds away. Stunned up, but they're peeled by Nick. Good interception. Nick now into a polymorph. Stun, Ring of Frost. Beautiful setup by Cloud9 here in game 2. Korlic has to respond. Immediately trading the ultimate sacrifice to stabilize. Now Kubzy has sacrifice, but no way to break crowd control. He's stuck in a Hammer of Justice. Big push by Charlotte Phoenix. They're looking like they might make it to match point. Snutz leaps back over, assisting Wealthyman with an intervene. They do playing goalie once again, like I explained, for his team, protecting the kill once again. Now charging forward onto Aang. Good swap from defense to offense. Kubzy's charging in. Blinding light on Korlic. Divine Shield forced out, maybe dying through it at this point. Nixon a polymorph. He can't help anyone. Aang is just getting blasted down, trying to stabilize with the heals of Korlic, but there's not a lot of throughput. Nick is finally out of crowd control. Kubzy's still chasing down Korlic as if he's waiting for a Hammer of Justice in a moment, but doesn't look like he's available for some time. Maybe just threatening it. 8 seconds away. 7 seconds away from that Hammer of Justice on Kubzy. 5 seconds. That Hammer of Justice with a Stormbolt wins the game 100% here for Cloud9, assuming they can stabilize. But it's actually not that safe if Kubzy gets caught in crowd control first. Wealthyman's actually on the back foot. Tempo in favor. Korlic is charging in. Kubzy gets the stun first, and that could be lights out with the Stormbolt coordination. Aang is trying to escape. He gets a blazing barrier up. He Dragon's Breath Snutz. He's line of sighting Wealthyman. Perfect positioning by Aang here. That was a checkmate position, but because he was able to reposition, he was able to avoid death. Korlic is still crowd controlled, though. Meteor's coming in from Wealthyman. Big hit from Snutz as well. Frost Nova, Blink, trying to escape. He's not looking like he's going to make it. They're going to proc the Wild Seed. Cloud9, if they can kill this Wild Seed, they purge off the bop, and they're trying to crush the Seed. Just a couple more hits. It's going to go down. Cloud9 tie it up 1-1.
Snutz getting a little bit comfortable there at the end of that one. Cloud9 tied up, like you said. And I feel like for Cloud9, their meal ticket here is just play this composition. Don't switch for any reason. At worst, you get a mirror. At best, you get Rogue Mage. So I feel like Cloud9, they've kind of figured it out. I'm kind of curious as to why they didn't just lock this in the blind pick, because it's like you kind of talked about. It feels like Cloud9 is really confident in this matchup. Like, they really do a good job in these Warrior Mage Paladin mirrors. And I feel like if they want to win this series, this is what they should play for the rest of it.
All right, well, hopefully they follow through with that for game number 3 here, and could maybe they put themselves on match point here with this comp that they swapped to in game number 2. But Cloud9 up right now. Charlotte Phoenix running out of time to put themselves back in this series. But let's break down that last kill here.
All right, so here, Korlic, you look at his cooldown right there at the top right. Now he gets his Hammer of Justice ready. Korlic, what are you doing? Why are you running into Kubzy? Like, what were you going to do there? Kubzy has Hammer of Justice. Korlic does it. Whoever gets the next CC chain wins the game. Korlic just runs in, gets Hammer of Justice, gets the fattest CC chain I've ever seen. They get a sheep, into a Intim, Fear from the Warrior. They purge off the bop here on the Seed, and that's it. That's the game. And I really feel like this matchup, I don't think C9 won it because their comp is better in this matchup. I think C9 won it because they play Mage Paladin a lot better than Charlotte Phoenix did. And I'm going to be honest, that when we saw Charlotte Phoenix go up against, I believe it was Method NA, we also saw them get completely dumpstered in Mage Paladin mirrors. So, I mean, it makes sense, right? They just added, a new mage to their roster. It takes a long time to build up that synergy, but I feel like that's if you are Charlotte Phoenix, you kind of want to avoid being in those Mage Paladin mirrors against people like Kubzy and Wealthyman that's been playing together for how many years now. So I
long.
think, yeah.
Yeah, you're
You can't
definitely
really
right.
avoid it though. I mean,
Yeah,
what
they
else are
can't
you
do
gonna
anything
play?
else.
That's all you play. You kind of have to. You
That's
can't
tough.
avoid it.
What do
It's
you
certainly
guys think?
scary, especially in moments like this.
Do you guys
I
think
mean, it
the
looked more
Warrior
even.
is better than the Rogue in this matchup? Like, would
I
you
think it's
rather play
even.
Rogue Mage Paladin or Warrior Mage Paladin? You think it's 50-50?
I would prefer
It
Warrior,
looks
but it's
pretty
not
back
by
and
much.
forth. I feel like it's pretty. I think we need more. Bless you. We need more data points, I would say. I'm not convinced of either side just yet. I think that was a really close game, and it came down to just those little micro outplays throughout the game. And I think Cloud9 they came out ahead in terms of aggression and crowd control, and their setups were just a little bit better, and that's why they won that game. But I feel like Charlotte Phoenix, if they play Rogue Mage Paladin again, they still have a really fair shot. I just think it has to be a little bit cleaner than what we saw in Ashmane's.
Okay, well, let's see what they can do here. Right now, the game is in their hands. They are going to be locking in Hook Point as well. And we're seeing Cloud9's composition on the board, and now it's Charlotte Phoenix's turn here. So definitely looking to see what they decide to do. There it is.
Mirror.
We are
They
going
think
to
Warrior's
see a
better, too.
mirror on Hook Point.
Big mistake.
How are we feeling about this, guys?
Hey, you really think it's a big mistake?
Yeah, I think they're gonna get completely destroyed. This is what I think. I think the Rogue is like, if I was a mage and I had to choose, do I want to play against the Rogue or do I want to play against the Warrior? I would pick the Warrior over the Rogue anytime because of the lockdown. The Rogue just has way more lockdown, which means that the enemy mage just has way more pressure on me than I do on him. That's one thing. The other thing is, I just think Cloud9 are better with the Mage Paladin. So if that is true and you remove that advantage of the Rogue, well, now you're going to play 100% on even grounds here. And obviously Charlotte Phoenix is a great team and they have great players. So they might be able to pull it off still. But percentage-wise, I think this is a lower win percentage than the Rogue Mage Paladin is. Because I think the Rogue Mage Paladin could have been played quite a lot better, actually, than they did in the last game.
What do you guys think then?
I mean, I like what Zico's saying. I mean, he's being very matter of fact about it. I'm curious to see what Charlotte Phoenix can do with the Warrior Mage Paladin, because I feel like they haven't done too bad of a job traditionally. Some of the, I guess, Mage Paladin mirror matchups haven't gone their way, but all the games are pretty close. That last one just came down to a few bad decisions, a few bad timings. But I still feel like they have a decent shot in this one against Cloud9. However, every single time we see Cloud9 play this comp, we always think they're just kind of on point with their crowd control. And it's interesting to see, because it seemed like at the beginning, like when we watched them play last weekend, it seemed like they were really just all about the Restoration Druid, started playing their Mage Lock Druid quite a bit more, the Shadow Priest Warlock Druid, and now they kind of switched gears. Maybe they've had more practice against some of these, because that was kind of a question mark for us, right? Is how are they going to do with their Mage Lock Druid against some of these really good Fire Mage Paladin teams? And I guess they're really not feeling confident with it against Charlotte Phoenix. But luckily for them, they've had to kind of adapt to the Fire Mage Paladin lifestyle, I guess, the meta. And they themselves are pretty darn good at it also.
Okay, well, let's see what they can do here. Charlotte Phoenix, regardless of how this matchup goes, we have to give these guys credit. I mean, Zico kind of mentioned it already. Cloud9 have been playing with each other for so long. We've seen Charlotte Phoenix go through a number of changes this season, and heading into these circuit cups, and now here they are, not shying away from mirroring Cloud9 in this really important matchup here that could be the determining factor of whether or not they make it into the top 4. But here it is. Here's that mirror on Hook Point, tied up 1-1. Cloud9 versus Charlotte Phoenix.
I really like the map pick here, because typically when we see Mage, Warrior, Paladin, Mirror on a large map, it's all about kiting the Warrior and just doing damage. But on this map, you're incentivized to push in because there's not going to be any drinks, there's not going to be any resets. Let's see who gets the first setup here. Kubzy is in a blinding light. Aang is looking for the polymorph, not able to find it. Snutz drops the War Banner, not able to catch the sheep with it, but he is able to shut it down. So good shutdown here from Snutz so far. Aang, though, getting good control here onto Snutz as well, getting a couple of polymorphs, getting some distance, and now Snutz is out of crowd control on diminishing return. Here comes the damage. Full Stormbolt onto Aang, full sheep onto Nick, full ring onto Korlic. Kubzy's there for the Hammer of Justice, and look at Snutz. He's a triple DR on sheep. There's nothing Aang can do about this. Finally, Dragon's Breath into a sheep. Sheep DR gets reset. Korlic's going to get a duck behind the corner there, and he is able to pick Aang back up. Nice defense there from Aang.
All right, let's see. I mean, Aang's had good kiting, I think, throughout this whole series. And it's definitely important in this matchup. Which mage can outplay the other warrior, basically, is going to determine the amount of damage output that the warriors can do overall. Right now, Korlic is falling behind on mana, though, having to play a bit more inefficiently than Kubzy. But now Wealthyman dips low. Big hit coming in from Nick. Blessing of Protection going to trade from Kubzy here, but a Ring of Frost is being casted. He's able to avoid it. Good teamwork on the side of Cloud9 to shut down that crowd control chain. Wealthyman's fishing. Not going to find anything. Korlic line of sighting him. Aang taking a bit of damage with polymorphing Snutz. Spear Bastion down on Wealthyman. Charlotte Phoenix look to try and pounce. They're not finding any crowd control. Wealthyman pulls back, but he's just getting slapped by Nick right now. Down to 10% health. A very scary moment right now for Cloud9. A full polymorph follows up by Aang. Wealthyman bouncing back into the fight for a moment, but the crowd control is still coming. Another polymorph. Wealthyman trinkets, trying to blink away from Nick. Nick intervening over to Aang to try and assist as Snutz is pushing through with Korlic in a polymorph, and it's very back and forth in Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is at this point, although Cloud9 has way more mana. And Kubzy, he also has a lot more defensive cooldowns to kind of work with at this point. Wealthyman getting smashed. Might be a sacrifice here from Kubzy. No, a big heal connects. Let's see, Intimidating Shout comes in from Snutz. Basically a free double. Aang just going to be line of sighting right now with his Alter Time. Can he hold on to it? Dragon's Breath, Polymorph on Snutz. Gets dispelled. Stormbolt! And Aang is forced to, I believe he traded out his Everyman for himself. 2 triggers Alter Time before he got smashed. So let's see them there by Aang. Nice cleanse there by Kubzy, also allowing Snutz to find that opportunity. Now he's not going to have a stun break, so the next time he gets caught in a Stormbolt, Wealthyman's going to be able to drop his Meteor with Combustion, and I think they're going to get a lot of cooldowns from Charlotte Phoenix if Snutz and Wealthyman can set it up right.
Yeah, it's all about landing that stun and connecting with a combustion. Even if you don't have CC when that happens, it just puts you in such a great situation. Korlic here in a blinding light into a Ring of Frost potentially. Wealthyman not able to find it around that corner, but Hammer of Justice connect. Aang still in a lot of trouble here. Nick also with that intervene taking a decent amount of damage. Full sheep onto Korlic with the Divine Favor active. Dragon's Breath onto Snutz. Aang's going for the sheep, trying to fake cast Snutz there, but Snutz not falling for it. Still more crowd control here onto Korlic. Aang dropping super low here. Blocks before the cauterized procs. Aang so far playing a really nice defensive game there, but here comes the combustion. Big damage potential, but Wealthyman just ducks away immediately. Aang forced to hit Snutz here with the leftovers of that combustion. He's going to sheep up Snutz. Here comes the Ring of Frost onto Kubzy. Wealthyman doesn't have a stop for it. He finds himself in a 3 versus 1 situation here. Wealthyman might have to trade out his ice block here. Finally, beautiful push coming out from Charlotte Phoenix so far, but Snutz is there to break things up. Drops the War Banner, gets the Psychic Scream, or gets the Intimidating Shout, and now Korlic is in a Ring of Frost. Nothing left for Aang. This could be the Divine Shield here, or the Trinket sacrifice. Don't Korlic, he doesn't have sacrifice yet.
That's a seed!
Sack
the seed.
He's super low. They sack the seed. Beautiful.
There's no seed.
I thought I saw Aang proc seed there.
I don't see no seed.
There was no seed.
All right, Korlic with no mana, no sacrifice, only Divine Shield. Kubzy with a massive mana advantage at this point. I would not be comfortable if I was Charlotte Phoenix. The advantage is heavily in favor of Cloud9 at this point. They need a miracle if they want to turn this around. There's really no openings. There's an option from all 3 players of Cloud9. They get good crowd control. Wealthyman responds, totally shutting it down. Now turning it on its head. Dragon's Breath into Polymorph on Korlic. This could be the end of the game. Is he going to Divine Shield at 1 second? Crowd control. He has to Divine Shield the Hammer of Justice. With Avenging Wrath, he should be able to pull his team back to full health, but might be for the last time as his mana basically hits empty. We see Snutz and a polymorph. Charlotte Phoenix go for one last push. Perhaps if Wealthyman makes a mistake here, they could take him down. He's still got cauterized in Ice Block. Snutz charging over to Aang. Kubzy's going to Divine Shield and keep Wealthyman healthy and aggressive. Stun onto Aang. Big damage. She's trying to escape, but they are in hot pursuit. Snutz intervening over. Aang just on the run, trying to line of sight, buy as much time as possible for Korlic, who is working with basically nothing, managing to at least recover Aang here for another assault. I think at this point, really, your only option is to kill Kubzy. No Trinket, no Divine Shield, but Aang's just going to get crushed.
There it is.
That is going to be it. Cloud9 asserting dominance. In that game, they definitely showed us what they've got.
I mean, this, I'm not going to lie, this, I don't know. I mean, the game went into dampening, but I'm not going to lie. I feel like if this keeps playing out, Cloud9 is just going to walk away 3-1 in this series. They're looking really, really good at these mirrors, just slightly outclassing Charlotte Phoenix, I would say. Their setups just look a little bit better. The consistent damage is better. The way they rotate through the defensive cooldowns is looking better. Kubzy's been doing a better job managing his mana. And I kind of worry for Charlotte Phoenix going into a game number 4. Are they going to go with the Rogue once again? Are they going to play the Warrior? Because honestly, I don't think the Warrior really looked better for them.
I just think they're outmatched in a mirror.
Well, I think that the Rogue is actually advantageous in the matchup, but they're just outmatched on the Mage Paladin front with the Rogue, so they still lost. But swapping to a Warrior, I mean, look at the game here. Korlic is completely out of mana, completely out of cooldowns. Aang is completely out of cooldowns. And look at Wealthyman. He has every single cooldown left. Kubzy still has 30% mana to work with. Kubzy is out of cooldowns, but with the Mage having cooldowns still, they're going to be able to at least reset Kubzy's Trinket and his Sacrifice at least one time. So they, in a mirror, to get this ahead, it's pretty significant. So
look at Snutz damage.
Yeah, look at the damage too.
Big.
Yeah.
Big.
Snutz is pretty good.
Okay.
Big damn.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Did all right.
Decent. Yeah, some rogue. Some guy. Okay, well done to these guys. Cloud9, here they are now on match point, winning on Charlotte Phoenix's map choice as well. So that is the swing match for them. So it's looking very solid right now here for these guys in the series. So Charlotte Phoenix most certainly on the back foot. It kind of seems like that was just not the play for Charlotte Phoenix swapping off of that rogue.
I can't blame them for at least trying. I mean,
yeah, they don't have options. I mean, they have no options. They have they have 2 compositions, and they're the same kind of archetype. So, I mean, basically, Cloud9 right now is beating them at their own game. I mean, I talked to Snutz a little bit about this during the Cup stage, where he was saying, you know, all of the Mage Paladin teams right now, this is kind of their meta. He said if Resto Druids ever rise to power, that's going to be our meta. So they're kind of just looking forward to that. We got a taste of that last weekend, but I mean, the impressive thing about Cloud9 is they can still, I mean, they can hang with these Mage Paladin mains. Playing it themselves. I mean, Wealthyman and Kubzy obviously have a tremendous amount of synergy. We are going to be going to Ruins of Lordaeron in a mirror match once again. So Charlotte Phoenix, they're going to be looking to just clean up their gameplay. That's exactly what they need to do. Setups need to be cleaner. Their denial of crowd control needs to be a little bit better. And just overall pressure needs to be higher. And I feel like Cloud9, if they're playing as well as they have been, this is going to be a really difficult match for Charlotte Phoenix.
Is this really happening 2 times in one day? We're getting Runes of Lordaeron match point.
Yeah.
It's going to happen twice.
It always
in one
happens.
I feel like it happens every week.
Yeah. It's not like it's...
I think it's more rare where we don't hear you say it, to be honest.
Yeah. It happens at least once a weekend, doesn't it?
No, I think did it happen last week?
Had to have.
It did. I know it
Did
did. It had to have.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now it's looking like it could be a fitting final resting place as Cloud9 are, I think, outclassing Charlotte Phoenix at the moment. Cloud9 just have way more experience, way more synergy built up over time. Charlotte Phoenix are putting up a fight, and they could still have an opportunity, but beating them in a mirror multiple times, I just can't give it to them. They might be able to do it once, but at the moment, it looks like Cloud9 were ready, which is also impressive because I feel like we were worried about Cloud9. They didn't make it to top 8 in the final cup. It seemed like, well, let's hope the Druid meta works out for them because this is not looking good. But it looks like they have options now. They can flex still to the Paladin Mage meta, as well as the Druid as an option, which is going to be important for them overall.
All right, well, let's see how this one goes. Game number 4, match point for Cloud9 between them and Charlotte Phoenix. Charlotte Phoenix is going to have to strike back. They're going to have to really put out some pressure in this one. Immediate Hammer of Justice onto Korlic, Stormbolt on Aang. Not the greatest start here. Warbanner does drop down. Nick trying to deny some of that follow-up crowd control, manages to do so. Korlic should be free. He needs to get some big heals out. Hammer of Justice onto Kubzy as they look to reverse the pressure. Korlic plays catch-up, entirely chopping off Aang, but he just gets bursted down once again. Snutz putting out so much pressure. At the same time, Wealthyman getting interrupted. He's caught in the Spear of Bastion. Nick is all over on both these mages under fire. Korlic trades out the sacrifice, and Cloud9 get ahead.
Yep, that's going to be the trinket sacrifice. Beautiful timing on the Fear of Snutz. And now we got a full shape here onto Korlic. Aang, what are you going to do here? Gets a couple of polymorphs onto Snutz. Looks like he's going to be able to survive that situation right there. That was Wealthyman's combust right there as well. Aang still dropping dangerously low. The blinding light is still there. Snutz is all over him. Can they proc the cauterize? One more execute could do it. Snutz gets 2 executes off, and they do proc the cauterize. Can they get the ice block as well? It's a 1%.
Oh, the seed!
Full counterspell snuck in onto Korlic.
Oh, saved by the light.
It's going to be a disaster. Do they have anything?
It's over.
It's not going to happen. And Aang is going to get absolutely crushed here on Ruins of Lordaeron. C9 takes it 3-1.
Oh, and you can see the disappointment on Aang's face. I mean, those guys, they did their absolute best. They really put themselves out there, but it is going to be a victory here for Cloud9.
Would it really be Ruins of Lordaeron if someone didn't die without blocking?
You guys can't see Sid's cam right now, but he is gleeful.
He's so
right
proud of himself.
That was a good one, Sid. You know what? Since you did that, I'm going to make you walk us through this.
You make me walk you. You want me to walk me through Aang's
That's your reward.
misery right here?
Yep.
This is just
Yes.
this is just sad time for Aang. Like, it's such a stressful matchup. You got to deal with Snutz attacking you the whole game, play perfect kiting, try and fish in for polymorphs. Your healer's in a blinding light with no trinket. You're trying to do evasive maneuvers. Snutz is still just all over you. You can't get away from Snutz. Look at Aang, cauterized procs. He's trying to get away. He dips really low, and yeah, right here is where the block needed to come through. And it didn't, but the pressure was really on. They're on match points. This team has had a lot of things they've had to work through as well in terms of restructuring their team. So
Yeah.
my hope is that they just continue practicing and improving, because obviously they're fighting some of the most established players throughout the history of World of Warcraft for, I mean, half a decade and longer than that, maybe even a decade on Snutz and Chanimal. So I think this is a team that has potential still, and they were able to take wins off in the cup stage. Now that they've had to reformat their team, it's just put more practice in, get more reps,